My friend died 2 years ago. So why did I see him smiling and waving at me during a random TikTok livestream? It was 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday when my world tilted sideways. I was doing what I always did when insomnia crept in, mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, letting the algorithm feed me an endless stream of content I'd barely remember in the morning. Dance videos, cooking hacks, someone's cat knocking things off a counter. The usual digital noise that filled the silence of living alone. Then the live stream notification popped up. @null_user is live. No profile picture. No bio. No follower count. Just that stark notification banner interrupting my feed. I almost scrolled past it. I usually did with random live streams. But something made me pause. Maybe it was the username. Maybe it was the fact that TikTok was suggesting a completely blank account. Maybe it was just that 2 a.m. curiosity that makes you do things you normally wouldn't. I tapped it. The stream loaded slowly, buffering in that frustrating way that makes you think your Wi-Fi is dying. Then the image resolved and my breath caught in my throat so hard I actually choked. The face on the screen was Marcus. Not someone who looked like Marcus. Not a distant relative or a doppelganger or someone with similar features. It was Marcus Chin, my college roommate, my best friend, the person who'd been in the ground for 2 years, 3 months, and 17 days. My phone nearly slipped from my trembling hands. He was sitting in what looked like a dimly lit room, the camera angle slightly tilted like he'd propped his phone against something. The lighting was that sickly blue-white of fluorescent bulbs, casting harsh shadows across his face. He wore the same red hoodie he'd been wearing the last time I saw him alive. The one his mom had buried him in because she said it was his favorite. "No," I whispered to my empty apartment. No. But Marcus, or whatever this was, smiled. That same lopsided smile that used to appear when he was about to suggest something stupid, like ordering pizza at 3 a.m. or skipping class to drive to the beach. My eyes darted to the viewer count. 1. Just me. The chat was empty. No other comments. No other watchers. This stream was broadcasting to an audience of 1. Then Marcus leaned closer to the camera and his smile widened. "Hey," he said, his voice crackling slightly through my phone's speaker. "I was wondering when you'd show up." My heart hammered against my ribs. This was impossible. This was a deep fake, a sick prank, some kind of AI-generated horror show designed to fuck with people. It had to be. But then he said my name. Alex. Not a username. Not a handle. My actual name, the one only people who knew me in real life would use. "Alex, can you see me?" I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't look away. He tilted his head, studying the camera, studying me like he could actually see through the screen. "I know this is weird. I know you probably think you're losing it right now." He paused and something flickered across his face. Something that looked like sadness. "But I need you to listen, okay? I need you to." The stream glitched. Art. The image fractured into digital artifacts, Marcus's face distorting into pixelated chaos. When it stabilized, he was closer to the camera, close enough that I could see the dark circles under his eyes, the pallor of his skin, the way his pupils seemed just slightly too large. "I've been trying to reach you," he whispered, "for so long. But you stopped looking." My thumb moved on its own, backing out of the stream, my whole body shaking. But before the app could close, Marcus's voice cut through one more time. "Don't leave me again, Alex. Not like you did before." The stream ended abruptly. The screen went black, then defaulted back to my For You page, where a teenager was doing a dance challenge like nothing had happened. I sat there in the darkness of my bedroom, phone clutched in both hands, trying to rationalize what I'd just seen. Trying to convince myself it was fake, a hack, a glitch in the matrix. Anything but what it appeared to be. Because Marcus was dead. I'd been at his funeral. I'd watched them lower his casket into the ground. I'd stood beside his mother while she sobbed so hard she couldn't stand without support. I'd given a eulogy that I barely remembered because I'd been so numb, so hollowed out by grief that I felt like a puppet reading someone else's words. Marcus had died in a car accident 2 years ago. Wrong place, wrong time, a drunk driver running a red light. Instead, the police said he didn't suffer. People always say that like it makes it better. But dead people don't go live on TikTok. Dead people don't say your name. Dead people don't remember that you. I squeezed my eyes shut, forcing the thought away. I didn't want to think about that night. About the argument. About the last words we'd exchanged before he stormed out of my apartment and got into his car. My phone buzzed in my hand, making me flinch so hard I nearly dropped it. Another notification. @null_user followed you back. My blood turned to ice. I hadn't followed the account. I hadn't even clicked on the profile. Yet there it was, a notification telling me that this blank, impossible account was now connected to mine. With shaking fingers, I tapped on the notification, pulling up the profile. Still no picture. Still no bio. Still no content except for that one live stream, which was already gone from the account's history like it had never existed. But there was one new element that made my stomach drop. In the account's pinned comment, written in plain text with no context. The warehouse on Fletcher Street. You know which one. And I did know. Because that's where Marcus and I had gone the night he died. An abandoned warehouse we'd explored as teenagers, back when we were stupid and fearless and thought we were invincible. The last place we'd been together before everything went wrong. I sat there staring at those words until my vision blurred, until my phone's screen dimmed from inactivity, until the only sound was my own ragged breathing and the distant hum of traffic outside my window. Marcus was dead. But something was using his face, his voice, his memories, and it knew exactly where to find me. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Marcus's face pixelating on that screen, heard his voice saying my name with that strange, hollow quality that made it sound like it was coming from somewhere far away, or somewhere very close, just beneath the surface of reality. By 6 a.m., I'd convinced myself I'd hallucinated the whole thing. Stress-induced psychosis. I'd been working too much, sleeping too little, existing in that gray zone of exhaustion where your brain starts playing tricks on you. That had to be it. Except when I opened TikTok again, my following list showed one new account. @null_user. Still no profile picture. Still no bio. And when I clicked on it, still no videos except the one I couldn't see anymore, the one that had already vanished like smoke. But it was real. It existed. Someone, or something, had created this account, broadcast that impossible stream, and then followed me. I took a screenshot, then another, then a screen recording of me scrolling through the blank profile. Evidence. Proof that I wasn't losing my mind. At 7:30 a.m., I called the only person I thought might believe me. This better be important. Jamie's voice was thick with sleep. I don't do human interaction before 9 a.m. Janie Park had been part of our college friend group, the three of us inseparable until Marcus died and everything fractured. We still talked occasionally, but there was always this weight between us now, this shared grief that neither of us knew how to navigate. I saw Marcus, I said without preamble, on a TikTok live stream. Last night. The silence on the other end stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Alex, Jamie finally said, voice gentle in that way people use when they're trying not to upset someone they think is breaking down. Marcus is dead. I know. I was at the funeral, remember? My voice came out sharper than I intended. But I'm telling you I saw him. He said my name. He knew things only Marcus would know. People make deepfakes all the time. It's probably some sick prank. It wasn't a deepfake. It was him. I know how he looked, how he sounded. Alex. Jamie's tone shifted, becoming firmer. You've been under a lot of stress. Maybe you should talk to someone. Like, professionally. I have screenshots. Of what? A blank account? That doesn't prove anything except that you saw a blank account. I pulled the phone away from my ear, staring at my reflection in the black screen. Jamie was right in a logical, rational sense. What did I actually have? A memory of a live stream that no longer existed. A blank profile that could belong to anyone. Nothing concrete. Nothing provable. But I knew what I'd seen. The account sent me a message. I lied. About the warehouse on Fletcher Street. Jamie sucked in a sharp breath. Don't go there, Alex. Why not? Because that place is condemned. Because nothing good happens when you go chasing ghosts. Because, Jamie's voice cracked. Because Marcus is dead and going to some abandoned building isn't going to change that. I'm not trying to change anything. I just need to understand. There's nothing to understand. He's gone. We buried him. You gave the eulogy, remember? You talked about how he was always the one who made us laugh, who brought everyone together, who... Jamie stopped abruptly. I can't do this right now. I have to get ready for work. Jamie, wait. The call ended. I sat there on my couch, phone in hand, feeling more alone than I had in months. Maybe Jamie was right. Maybe I was chasing ghosts. Maybe this was just my brain's broken way of processing grief that I'd never properly dealt with. But then my phone buzzed. A message request. From @null_user. My finger hovered over the notification. Every rational part of my brain screamed not to open it. Block the account. Delete the app. Move on with my life. Instead, I tapped it. The message was simple. Just 3 words. You remember, right? My hands started shaking again. Before I could respond, another message came through. The night I died. What you said. What you didn't say. My throat tightened. The argument. The things we'd screamed at each other in the heat of anger. Words designed to cut deep because we knew each other's vulnerabilities so well. The way he'd grabbed his keys and stormed out. And the way I'd let him go because I was too proud, too angry, too stupid to realize it would be the last time. I need you to remember, the next message read. Before it's too late. I typed back with trembling fingers. Who is this? This isn't funny. The typing indicator appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, it's me, Alex. It's always been me. I've been trying to reach you, but you keep pushing me away. Just like you did that night. I felt like I was going to be sick. Marcus is dead. I watched them bury him. Did you? Or did you just watch them bury what was left? My breath came in short, sharp gasps. This was insane. This was impossible. This was... The account went dark. Not just offline, completely deleted. The profile picture turned into the generic gray silhouette. The username changed to account not found. Every message disappeared from the thread like they'd never existed. I refreshed. Nothing. I searched for @null_user. No results. It was gone. Completely erased. For a moment, I almost felt relief. It was over. Whatever sick game this was, it had ended. I could move on, forget this ever happened, maybe actually call a therapist like Jamie suggested. Then a new notification appeared. Not from TikTok this time. From Instagram. @null_user tagged you in a post. My heart stopped. I opened Instagram with shaking hands. The account was identical, blank profile, no posts, no followers. But there was one tagged post. A photo. The warehouse on Fletcher Street. Taken from inside. And in the corner of the frame, barely visible in the shadows, was a figure that looked exactly like me. Standing in a place I hadn't been to in 2 years. Standing in the spot where Marcus and I had our last conversation. The caption read, "See you soon." I didn't go to work that day. I called in sick, which wasn't entirely a lie. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck, my whole body humming with adrenaline and dread. Instead, I spent hours staring at that Instagram post, screenshot after screenshot, trying to understand how someone had gotten a photo of me in a place I hadn't visited in 2 years. Except it was me. Same height. Same build. Same jacket I'd worn yesterday. Even the way I stood, weight shifted to one leg, hands in pockets. It was my posture exactly. But I hadn't been there. By noon, the Instagram account had been deleted too. Just like TikTok. Just like everything else. Vanishing the moment I tried to dig deeper, leaving me with nothing but screenshots that proved increasingly little. I tried to convince myself it was photo manipulation. Someone with access to my social media, my photos, advanced editing software. It was possible. Technically possible. But how would they know about the warehouse? About Marcus? About that specific spot where we'd stood 2 years ago? My phone rang, making me jump. Jamie's name flashed on the screen. "Before you say anything," Jamie started without greeting, "I'm sorry about this morning. I shouldn't have brushed you off like that." "It's fine. You were right anyway." "No, I wasn't. I was scared." Jamie paused. "Because I've been seeing things too." My heart skipped a beat. What kind of things? About a week ago, I got a friend request on Facebook from Marcus's account. That's not possible. His mom shut down his social media after. I know, but it was his profile picture, his name, everything. When I clicked on it, the profile was empty except for one post from yesterday. Jamie's voice dropped to almost a whisper. It was a photo of the three of us, from that night, at the warehouse. I felt cold all over. I never took any photos that night. Neither did I. But there we were, all three of us standing in front of that building. And Marcus looked different in the photo. His eyes were wrong. Too dark. Too empty. Did you save it? I tried. But the whole account disappeared before I could screenshot it. I thought I'd imagined it, that I was finally losing it from all the guilt, and Jamie stopped abruptly. The guilt. That word hung between us like a weight. Neither of us had talked about it. Not at the funeral. Not in the months after. The fact that both of us had been there that night. Both of us had said things we couldn't take back. Both of us had let Marcus walk away angry. What did the post say? I asked quietly. It was a caption. Just 3 words. You both remember. The same phrase from the TikTok message. You remember, right? I'm going to the warehouse, I said suddenly. Tonight. Alex, no. I have to. Whatever this is, it's not going to stop. And I need to know if... I trailed off, unable to finish the thought. What? If Marcus was somehow alive? If his ghost was haunting us through social media? If we were both experiencing a shared psychotic break? If you're going, I'm coming with you, Jamie said firmly. You don't have to. Yes, I do. We were all there that night. If something's happening, we face it together. We agreed to meet at 8 p.m. after dark, when fewer people would see us breaking into a condemned building. I spent the rest of the afternoon trying to distract myself, but every few minutes I'd check my phone, half expecting another message, another impossible post. At 7:30 p.m., as I was getting ready to leave, my phone buzzed. A TikTok notification. My stomach dropped. At @null_user is live. My fingers moved on autopilot, opening the app, tapping the notification. The stream loaded faster this time, resolving almost instantly into an image that made my blood run cold. It wasn't Marcus this time. It was the warehouse. The camera was positioned inside, pointing at the main entrance. The same rusted metal door I'd be walking through in less than 30 minutes. The space was dark except for thin streams of light cutting through gaps in the boarded windows, illuminating dust motes floating in the stale air. Nothing moved. Nothing happened. Just a static shot of an empty, abandoned space. But then I heard it. A voice, distant and distorted like it was coming through layers of static. Help me. Marcus's voice. You left me there. The camera didn't move, but the image seemed to darken, shadows creeping in from the edges of the frame like living things. Both of you left me, and now you have to come back. The stream glitched violently. When the image stabilized, something had changed. There was a figure in the frame now, standing in the far corner where the light barely reached. Just a silhouette, but I could make out the shape of a person, arms hanging limply at their sides, head tilted at an unnatural angle. Come back to where it happened. Come back and remember what you did. The viewer count showed 2 now. Jamie was watching too. The figure in the corner moved, not walked but shifted like footage skipping frames. 1 second in the back, the next closer to the center, then closer still. Each jump accompanied by that horrible glitching, that digital distortion that made reality feel thin and breakable. It should have been you, the voice whispered. It should have been both of you. The figure was close to the camera now, close enough that I could see was wearing something red. The hoodie. Marcus's hoodie. Then the camera looked up and I saw the face. It was Marcus, but wrong. So fundamentally wrong that my brain struggled to process what I was seeing. His features were right. Same eyes, same nose, same scar on his chin from a skateboarding accident when we were 16. But his skin had a waxy, artificial quality. His eyes were too wide, unblinking, reflecting the dim light like an animal's eyes caught in headlights. And his mouth was moving, forming words, but the voice coming through my speaker didn't match the movement of his lips. It was delayed like a badly dubbed foreign film. "The warehouse," he said, and now I could see his lips moving out of sync with the words. "Tonight, 8 p.m. Both of you. Finish what we started." The stream ended. I sat frozen, phone clutched in shaking hands, the TikTok app showing me a cheerful, "Stream ended. Check back later" message, like I hadn't just witnessed something that violated every law of nature and death. My phone rang. "Jamie, tell me you saw that." Jamie's voice was barely above a whisper. "Yeah." "What the fuck is happening?" "I don't know." I took a shaky breath. "But we're still going, right?" A long pause. Then, "Yeah, we're going." "Jamie, what did he mean by finish what we started?" Another pause, longer this time. When Jamie spoke again, the words were heavy with something I couldn't quite name. Fear, guilt, or maybe both. "I think he means the argument. The real reason he left that night." Jamie's voice cracked. "The thing we never told anyone about." I closed my eyes, and suddenly I was back in that moment 2 years ago. The three of us standing in the warehouse, Marcus in the middle, Jamie and I on either side. The accusations. The betrayal. The choice Marcus had tried to force us to make. The choice that had ended with him storming out, getting in his car, and never coming home. "We have to go," I said quietly. "We have to face this." "I know," Jamie whispered. "I've known since the moment his account followed me. We've been running from this for 2 years." "See you at 8? See you at 8. I ended the call and sat in the growing darkness of my apartment, watching the minutes tick by on my phone's clock. Outside, the city hummed with normal life. People going to dinner, heading to bars, living their uncomplicated existences. And I prepared to walk into an abandoned warehouse to confront the ghost of my dead best friend. Or whatever was wearing his face. The warehouse looked worse than I remembered. 2 years of neglect had taken their toll. The chain-link fence surrounding the property sagged in places, torn and rusted. Graffiti covered every surface, layers of spray paint forming a chaotic palimpsest of tags and symbols. The building itself loomed against the night sky, windows dark and empty like the eye sockets of a skull. Jamie was already there when I arrived at 7:55 p.m., leaning against their car with arms wrapped tight around their chest. We hadn't seen each other in person since Marcus's 1-year memorial service, but grief had a way of making time irrelevant. Jamie looked older, more worn down, dark circles under their eyes that matched my own. "Last chance to back out," Jamie said without preamble. "Are you backing out?" "No." "Then neither am I." We stood there for a moment, two people bound together by guilt and the ghost of our dead friend, staring at the building that had become the epicenter of our worst memory. "Whatever happens in there," Jamie said quietly, "I'm sorry for that night, for what I said, for..." "I know. Me too." We'd both apologized to Marcus's grave. We'd both carried the weight of those last words for 2 years. But we'd never apologized to each other, never acknowledged that all three of us had been caught in that terrible moment, all three of us responsible for what came after. My phone buzzed. 8 p.m. exactly. No notification. No message. Just a reminder that we were out of time. The entrance was easier to breach than expected. Someone had already cut through the chain on the door, leaving it hanging loose. Fresh bolt cutters, probably from earlier today. Someone had been here recently. Someone had wanted us to get inside. I pulled the door open, metal scraping against concrete, and the smell hit me immediately. Decay. Rust. Something sweet and sickly underneath, like rotting fruit. The beam from my phone's flashlight cut through the darkness, illuminating a large open space littered with debris, old equipment, broken pallets, papers scattered across the floor. "This is where we came that night," Jamie whispered, voice echoing slightly in the cavernous space. "Where we had the argument." I remembered. God, I remembered every detail. The three of us standing in a triangle, voices raised, Marcus in the middle demanding that Jamie and I choose. That we pick sides in a fight that shouldn't have existed, a conflict born from jealousy and miscommunication and the toxic dynamics that sometimes poison friendships. Jamie had chosen me. Marcus had felt betrayed. And I had said the thing I could never take back. Maybe if you weren't so needy all the time, we wouldn't have to choose. Those words. Those fucking words that I'd replayed in my head 1,000 times since that night. The last thing I'd said before Marcus stormed out, before he got in his car, before the drunk driver ran the red light. Over here, Jamie's voice pulled me back to the present. They were standing near the far wall, flashlight pointed at something on the ground. As I approached, I saw what had caught their attention. Equipment. Recording equipment. Not old, abandoned equipment left over from when this building had been operational. New equipment. Digital cameras on tripods. A laptop sitting on an overturned crate, screen dark but still warm to the touch. Cables snaking across the floor, connected to a portable generator that hummed quietly in the corner. Someone had been live streaming from here. Alex? Jamie's voice was tight with fear. Look at the laptop. I moved closer and my blood turned to ice. The screen was in sleep mode, but I could see the reflection of something behind us. I turned slowly, phone light sweeping across the space. Photographs. Dozens of them pinned to the wall in a grid pattern. All of them showed the same thing. Marcus. At different ages, different times, different places. Some were pulled from social media. Photos we'd posted years ago. Others were candid shots that none of us had taken. Marcus at the coffee shop. Marcus walking to his car. Marcus standing outside his apartment building. And at the center of the grid, one photo larger than the rest. The three of us at the warehouse, taken from a high angle the night Marcus died. The timestamp in the corner showed 10:47 p.m., exactly 15 minutes before the accident. I told you, Jamie breathed. I told you there was a photo. But who took it? We were alone that night. Were we? The generator's hum suddenly seemed louder, more ominous. I moved to the laptop, tapping the trackpad to wake it. The screen illuminated, showing a TikTok livestream interface. The stream was still active. Title: The Truth About That Night. Viewers: 247. My heart stopped. 247 people were watching right now. Watching what? I found a camera pointed directly at us. We'd been on camera since the moment we walked in. Every word, every movement broadcast to an audience of strangers. We need to leave, I said, reaching for Jamie's arm. Now. But Jamie wasn't moving. They were staring at something over my shoulder, face drained of all color. I turned. Marcus stood in the doorway. Not on a screen this time. Not distorted by pixels or camera artifacts. Standing there in physical space, wearing that red hoodie, his face illuminated by the generator's dim light. You came, he said, and his voice was real, solid, impossible. I knew you would. You always felt too guilty not to. Jamie made a sound between a gasp and a sob. You're dead. We buried you. Marcus smiled, and it was his smile exactly as I remembered it. Did you? Or did you just bury your guilt and call it me? He took a step forward, and I noticed the wrongness then. The way he moved, too smooth, too fluid, like he was gliding rather than walking. The way his eyes didn't quite focus right, pupils too large, reflecting the light wrong. What are you? I whispered. I'm what you made me, he said simply. The version of Marcus that exists in your guilt, in your memories, in your nightmares. Another step closer. I'm the Marcus who died hating you both. The Marcus who never forgave you. The Marcus you can't escape. This isn't real, Jamie said, but their voice shook with uncertainty. This is some kind of elaborate prank, or we're having a shared hallucination, or I'm exactly what I appear to be, Marcus interrupted. Dead. But not gone. Never gone. Not while you both carry me. He gestured to the laptop, to the live stream still broadcasting. I've been trying to reach you for so long. But you wouldn't listen. You blocked it out, moved on, pretended that night never happened. So I found a way to make you see. Make you remember. The live streams, I said, understanding dawning with horror. You've been haunting us through social media. I've been showing you the truth, he corrected. That you can't escape what you did, what you said, what you didn't say. His expression darkened. That you let me leave angry. That you chose each other over me. That you were sorry. Jamie's shout echoed through the warehouse. Is that what you want to hear? We're sorry. We've been sorry every single day for 2 years. Sorry doesn't bring me back, Marcus said softly. And then, quieter still, sorry doesn't change what should have happened. The lights flickered. The generator's hum became a whine. And in that moment of distortion, I saw something that made my blood freeze. Behind Marcus, in the shadows, something moved. Something that looked like Marcus but wrong. Skin gray, eyes hollow, mouth open in a silent scream. The real Marcus, or what was left of him. The figure in front of us, the one we'd been talking to, flickered like a bat signal. For just a second, I saw through it, saw the complex web of cameras and projections creating the illusion. But the thing in the shadows, that was real. Oh God, I breathed. Jamie, we need to run. The Marcus projection smiled wider, wider than any human mouth should stretch. Too late, it said in a voice that was no longer Marcus's, no longer anything human. You're already part of the stream. The laptop screen behind us flared bright. I turned and saw what the 247 viewers were seeing. Jamie and me standing in the warehouse. But in the live stream, we weren't alone. We were surrounded by shadows, dark figures pressing in from all sides. And walking toward us, step by impossible step, was something wearing Marcus's face like a mask. The stream's chat exploded with messages. OMG, is this real? This is fake, right? Why aren't they running? Behind you. And then the screen went black. The generator died. And in the sudden darkness, I heard Marcus's voice. The real one this time, raw and broken and wrong. It should have been you. When the lights came back on, we were alone. Not truly alone. I could feel the presence of something watching us. Something that had worn Marcus's face but was never really him. The cameras were still there, still recording, red lights blinking steadily in the darkness. The generator hummed back to life, but the sound was different now, lower, almost like breathing. Jamie was pressed against the wall, phone clutched in shaking hands, flashlight beams sweeping frantically across the empty warehouse. Where did he go? Where the fuck did he go? It wasn't him, I said, my voice surprisingly steady given that every nerve in my body was screaming. It was never him. Then what was it? I didn't have an answer. A projection? A hallucination? Something worse. Something that fed on guilt and grief and used them to create a perfect replica of the person we'd lost? My phone buzzed. What? Twice. 3 times in rapid succession. Notifications. Dozens of them. All from TikTok. At null_user mentioned you in a comment. At null_user mentioned you in a comment. At null_user mentioned you in a comment. With trembling fingers, I opened the app. The live stream was still active, still broadcasting, but the feed had changed. Instead of showing the warehouse interior, it now showed a split screen. Left side, Jamie and me standing in the warehouse, visible from multiple camera angles like we were on a reality TV show. Right side, a different feed entirely. My apartment. My actual apartment, the view from my living room looking toward the front door. And standing in my doorway, barely visible in the darkness, was a figure in a red hoodie. No, I whispered. No, that's not possible. But even as I said it, I knew it was true. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't bound by physical space or logic. It existed simultaneously here and there, in the warehouse and in my apartment, in the past and the present, in reality and online. Jamie looked over my shoulder at my phone screen and went pale. Alex, that's your place. I know. But if you're here, then who? The warehouse feed flickered. When it stabilized, we saw something that made my heart stop. In the live stream version of the warehouse, there were 2 figures standing exactly where Jamie and I stood. But they weren't moving with us. They were acting out a scene like actors in a play. The fake me said something to fake Jamie. Fake Jamie shook their head. Fake me grabbed fake Jamie's arm. They were arguing, the body language aggressive, hostile. Then fake Marcus walked into frame. Oh God, Jamie breathed. It's showing that night. It's recreating the argument. We watched in horror as the scene played out, a perfect reconstruction of that terrible night 2 years ago. Every word, every gesture, every moment of anger and betrayal captured and replayed like a recording. But something was wrong. The timing was off. Events happened in slightly different order. Words were changed, twisted into something darker. This wasn't a recording of what actually happened. This was a recording of what Marcus thought happened. His version of that night, filtered through hurt and anger and the distortion of memory. The fake me in the video said something I'd never said, something crueler. "We don't need you anymore, Marcus." "We never did." "That's not what happened," I said aloud, voice cracking. "I never said that." But the stream didn't care about truth. It cared about perception, about the version of reality that Marcus had carried with him in those final moments before the accident. The scene continued. Fake Marcus turned away, shoulders shaking. Fake Jamie reached out but pulled back at the last second, choosing to stay beside fake me instead. And then fake Marcus walked out of frame toward the door, toward his death. The live stream chat was going insane. "This is so fucked up. Are we watching someone die? Someone call the police. This has to be fake, right?" Right. The viewer count had jumped to over 1,000 now. People were sharing the stream, spreading it across platforms, turning our private nightmare into viral content. Then the split screen changed again. The left side still showed Jamie and me in the real warehouse, but the right side now showed the interior of a car. Marcus's car. The dashboard camera view timestamped 11:02 p.m., the night he died. "No," Jamie said. No, we don't need to see this." But we couldn't look away. The footage showed Marcus driving, hands gripping the wheel too tight, face illuminated by passing streetlights. He was crying. Actually crying, tears streaming down his face as he drove too fast through the empty streets. Then he pulled out his phone. "Don't," I whispered to the screen, even though I knew how this ended. "Please don't." But past Marcus opened his phone, thumbs moving across the screen, typing a message. The camera angle was wrong to see what he was writing, but I knew. God, I knew. 'Cause I'd gotten that message. We both had. The text that had come through at 11:04 p.m., 2 minutes before the accident. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made you choose. I just wanted to matter to someone." We never responded. By the time we saw it, he was already gone. On the screen, Marcus hit send. Then he looked up just as headlights flooded the interior of the car from the side. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened to scream. The feed cut to black. For 3 seconds there was nothing. Just darkness and the sound of breathing. Mine, Jamie's, something else's. Then a new notification appeared on my phone. "At null_user is going live from your apartment." The feed switched to my living room. The figure in the red hoodie was fully visible now, standing in the center of my apartment, head tilted at that same unnatural angle. The camera must have been positioned on my coffee table, pointing up at an angle that made the figure look impossibly tall. It raised one hand and waved directly at the camera, directly at me. Then it spoke, and the voice came through both my phone and the warehouse speakers simultaneously, creating a disorienting echo. "You've been watching me. Now it's my turn to watch you." The figure turned slowly, surveying my apartment like it was performing an inspection. It moved to my bookshelf, running fingers along the spines. Stopped at my desk, where photos were pinned to a bulletin board. Photos that included Marcus' happier times before everything fell apart. "Did you think moving apartments would help?" the voice asked. "Did you think changing your locks, deleting your apps, blocking everyone who reminded you of me? Did you think that would make me go away?" It picked up one of the photos, the three of us at graduation, arms around each other, smiling like we'd be friends forever. "I'm not in your phone, Alex. I'm not in your computer." The figure crushed the photo in its fist. "I'm in here." It tapped its chest. "In every regret, every nightmare, every time you lie awake wondering if things could have been different." Jamie grabbed my arm. "We have to go. We have to get to your apartment before it." "Before it what?" I asked. "It's not really there. It's not really anywhere. It's just showing us what we're afraid to see." But even as I said it, the figure in my apartment moved toward my bedroom door. The camera angle shifted. There must have been multiple cameras planted throughout my apartment without my knowledge. The new feed showed my bedroom, my bed, my safe space violated by this presence. And there, on my bed, arranged carefully like a macabre art installation, were objects I thought I had thrown away. Marcus's hoodie. The one his mother had given me after the funeral, The one I kept for 3 months before finally donating it because seeing it every day was too painful. The program from his memorial service. A birthday card he'd given me our sophomore year. Happy birthday to my best friend, written in his messy handwriting. Photos I'd deleted from my phone but apparently not from cloud storage. Every piece of Marcus I'd tried to erase, gathered and displayed like evidence at a trial. You kept pieces of me, the figure said, running its hands over the objects. Even when you tried to forget. Even when you told yourself you'd moved on. You kept me. And I kept you. The camera switched again. This time showing a split screen of my apartment and Jamie's. Because of course it had been in Jamie's place too. Of course this thing had infiltrated every space we thought was safe. Jamie's screen showed similar artifacts. Marcus's old textbook that Jamie had borrowed and never returned. A t-shirt. A gaming controller. Small pieces of a dead friend that we both held onto like religious relics. We're going to end this, Jamie said suddenly, voice hard with determination. Right now. I don't care what you are or how you're doing this, but it ends tonight. They walked toward the laptop, reaching for the power cable. But before they could pull it, every screen in the warehouse flared to life. Not just the laptop, my phone, Jamie's phone, the mounted tablets, everything displaying the same image. The warehouse. From outside. From a high angle like a security camera. Showing multiple police cars pulling up. Officers exiting vehicles. SWAT team members taking positions. The timestamp showed real time. This was happening now. What the fuck? Jamie breathed. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered on speaker. This is Sergeant Morrison with Metro Police. We've received multiple emergency calls about a hostage situation at your location. We have the building surrounded. I need you to come out with your hands visible. Now. There's no hostage situation, I said quickly. It's a misunderstanding. We're just... Sir, we have live video showing 2 individuals being held against their will. Multiple witnesses online have reported seeing weapons. You need to come out now before this escalates. The call ended. I looked at Jamie, then at the live stream still running on the laptop. The chat had exploded. They have guns. Someone's going to die. SWAT team is there. This is insane. But we didn't have weapons. We weren't holding anyone hostage. Unless... The feed switched to show us from yet another angle. But in this version, the warehouse looked different. Darker. And Jamie was holding something that looked like a gun. And I was standing over a figure on the ground, a figure in a red hoodie that wasn't moving. It's editing the footage, I realized with horror. It's showing them a deep fake. Making it look like we... An amplified voice from outside. This is your final warning. Come out with your hands up or we will enter with force. The thing wearing Marcus's face appeared on every screen simultaneously. No longer in my apartment or in the shadows. Right there in the warehouse with us. Materializing from nothing, standing between us and the only exit. It should have been you, it said, and this time the voice was fractured. Speaking from every device at once, creating a horrible chorus. Both of you. You should have been in that car. You should have died that night. Not me. Never me. We didn't want you to die. Jamie shouted. We were stupid, we were angry, but we never wanted. But I did die. And you lived. You got to move on, get new friends, build new lives. While I'm stuck in that moment forever. Replaying it. Feeling the impact. Dying over and over and over. The warehouse door exploded inward. SWAT team members poured through, weapons raised, shouting commands that became an incomprehensible wall of noise. And the Marcus thing smiled. They're going to see what I show them, it whispered. And when they shoot you, when you're lying on this floor bleeding out, you'll finally understand. You'll finally know what I felt. Time seemed to slow. I saw the officer's fingers on triggers. Saw the red laser sights cutting through the dusty air. Saw Jamie's hands going up in surrender, but too slow, too late. And in that crystalline moment of terror, I understood. This was never about revenge. It was about making us feel what Marcus felt. The helplessness, the fear, the knowledge that your life was ending and there was nothing you could do to stop it. I'm sorry. I screamed, not to the police but to Marcus, to his ghost, to whatever twisted remnant of him had been haunting us. I'm sorry I said those things. I'm sorry I let you leave. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that you mattered, that you were important, that I... The word caught in my throat, but Jamie finished it. That we loved you. That we still love you. That losing you broke something in us that never healed. The Marcus thing flickered. For just a moment, I saw through the projection to something underneath. Not a monster. Not a demon. Just pain. Just the concentrated essence of someone who died thinking they didn't matter. You mattered, I said, and I was crying now, tears streaming down my face as red laser sights tracked across my chest. You always mattered. And I'm sorry we didn't say it enough when you were alive. The screens went dark. Every single one simultaneously, like someone had flipped a switch. The warehouse plunged into darkness except for the flashlight beams from the police officers' weapons. And when they searched the building, they found only 2 college students, terrified and crying, surrounded by abandoned streaming equipment. No weapons, no hostage, no body. Just a laptop showing an ended live stream with over 10,000 viewers and a final comment from @null_user. Thank you. I can finally let go now. The account deleted itself as we watched. 3 months later. I still think about that night. About the warehouse, the live streams, the thing that wore Marcus's face. The police never figured out who set up the equipment or how the deepfake footage was created. The investigation went cold within weeks. But Jamie and I know what really happened. We talk about it sometimes, usually late at night when insomnia creeps in and the guilt feels too heavy to carry alone. We talk about Marcus, not the ghost but the real person. The friend we lost. The mistakes we made. The words we wish we could take back. We visit his grave together now. Leave flowers. Tell him stories. Say the things we should have said when he was alive. And sometimes, very rarely, I'll see a notification from an unknown account. A friend request from a blank profile. A message request with no preview text. I don't open them anymore. Because I've learned that some doors, once closed, should stay closed. Some ghosts need to be laid to rest, not constantly resurrected through technology and guilt. Marcus deserved better than to be trapped in our memories forever, haunting us through screens and streams. He deserved peace. And maybe, finally, he found it. But late at night, when I'm alone in my apartment, I sometimes catch a glimpse of red in my peripheral vision. A figure that's there and gone in an instant. And I wonder if he really let go. Or if part of him is still watching. Still waiting. Still broadcasting to an audience of one. The live stream that never truly ends. The end.